laboratory technician in the hospital. There was no place to look up this information. This was before the internet, before people had access to all of this information. My father didn't even have an obituary, neither did my son. There was no place to look up the details. And she knew the details. And I asked her, where are you getting this information? And she said, it's coming from spirits that are around me. They're telling me. They're not in bodies. And that, to me, changed my world that instant. Because then I knew that if she was right about my father and my son, I believe she was telling me the truth about past lives also. And then...
Was that scary for you?
Yes, yes. Scary and comforting at the same time. Comforting because my father and my son
Were somewhere.
were somewhere. And she says they were with these spirits. Their spirits. They were somewhere. They were alive. They didn't die when their physical bodies died. Scary because my whole worldview was turned upside down. And I didn't know that this other world existed. And here I was finding it out. That was the very moment when I knew, because I knew deep down that she was telling the truth. The truth.
And you too. For you and for the world.
Yes.
And you went on with her, meeting new lives and knowing more about reincarnation.
Yes, she had about 10 or 12 lifetimes. And after that, she didn't need it anymore because she was cured. Those were the lifetimes that had a connection to her present life as Catherine. And then when she resolved those issues, it healed all of her symptoms. Along the way,
she was healing the main traumas from those 12 lives that were still affecting her.
Exactly. And along the way, she kept giving me messages from these masters. Messages about life and death and why people are here, what's the purpose of life. And since they were so correct about my father and my son, I was recording these sessions exactly. Because Catherine I was seeing in 1980 and 81 and 82, this is now 26 years ago. And I was recording every session word by word. So I did not write Muchos Vidas, Muchos Sabios for many years after Catherine because I was concerned with my reputation and my career. I had no intention to go public about this.
That was your fear.
That's right. And I had a very good position as chairman of the psychiatry department. This was jeopardized if I go public. Eventually I decided to do this with my wife's support and because we had come through so many things, through times when we had no money at all in the beginning, the death of a child, all of this together that we needed, when I decided to go public.
But you faced your new and your deepest mission here.
Yes, that was part of it. Because since that time, it's been 26 years, I've now worked with more than 4,000 patients in my office, individually doing regression.
No,
a lot of people, and people from all over the world, but also in groups. So if we add up all the numbers of people that I've had in groups during regression sessions, like here in Buenos Aires and Mar del Plata and Punta del Este, and also Tokyo and Osaka and London and Madrid and Barcelona and everywhere. It's more than 100,000 people. And many of them have had experiences and written to me and confirmed their experiences, validated their experiences, had healing. So it's a huge number of people. But at that time, there was one, Catherine. So I taped every session, and I did for many years with other patients. And when I wrote the book, I wanted it word for word. So the editor edited the parts from me, like my story, where I went to school, or this and that. But I told them, you cannot edit from the tapes her part, because every word may have a meaning that I'm not aware of yet. Every paragraph, I don't know. Maybe there's something in it that I don't realize yet. Don't change that. Thank God for that. because I've had so many validations over the years that I didn't know at the time. For example, I was confused with Catherine's first session. How could she die in a flood or tidal wave? She was describing a life in the Near East, which I saw as, wow, this is not an area where they get tidal waves or hurricanes. But she was probably on one of the islands in the Mediterranean, such as Thera. And although the year wasn't exactly correct, when the volcano in Thera, which we now call Santorini, erupted almost 4,000 years ago, it created gigantic tidal waves, 100 feet waves, that went all the way, covered the islands, destroyed the civilization on Thera and other islands, and went all the way to Greece, the Near East, northern Egypt, with tidal waves, tsunami.
Yeah.
And that's probably what she was describing. So a geologist sent me that years later. So I'm glad I didn't change things, because so many people have responded to those words. I wanted to keep them pure, exactly what she was saying, word for word.
And do we all have several past lives?
I think we do now. You know, every question you ask for it has resonances at deeper levels, because I've thought about these questions myself. And I've asked people in the deep states, for example, how do the numbers fit? Like, there are more people than ever before. Where do the souls come from? Because if we're all having past lives, and now the population is larger, how does this fit? That's that scientific, rational part of me, which is always questioning to make sure it's real. And the answer that comes back most often is that this is not the only place where there are souls. Souls exist in many dimensions. And
not
so,
even planets. You mean other levels, other kinds of, other dimensions, not physical places.
see, so it may be physical places, but it can be non-physical dimensions too, as modern physics is talking about now. So it may be that a soul is here for the first time, but it's not a new soul being created. It's coming from another place. And so I think most of us have had past lives, but occasionally a new soul comes in. I don't think it would start in Buenos Aires, because it's too complicated. Maybe it starts in a little village learning about agriculture and earth, and what are these strange things called people, and why do they act in this way? So, but you don't get to the Buenos Aires until later.
And why does the soul need to reincarnate?
I think that this is a large school here, that we have lessons
Here on Earth.
Exactly. Lessons of compassion, love, charity, hope, nonviolence. All of these lessons, patience.
It's a hard school.
It's a hard school. This is the hard place. This is the hard school. The other side, what people call heaven, which may have many different dimensions and levels also, that's not so hard. But here, in this school, we have physical bodies. We have pain,
That hurts.
that hurts, grief, loss. People die. We have illnesses. We have diseases. It hurts. So it's a very hard school. But it's a wonderful school, because here we have physical love. We have sensations, smells. We can see the sky and the waters. And it's a great school. It's a physical school. It's very, very difficult, but it's a good school.
It's like school.
It's like school.
We remember our own schools in that terms.
Exactly.
We come back and